Welcome back, everybody, to the Fighting for Freedom podcast.
Fighting for freedom, one podcast at a time.
What up, what up? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of the Fighting for Freedom podcast. Today I am joined by one of these dudes that I've been tagging on Instagram, trying to get that attention for a hot minute, and here we are today, Freedom Empire. Jokes by Drew. What's up, Drew? How you doing today?
What's going on, dude?
What's up, man? Hey, I really do appreciate you coming out. You got one of them stories that kind of aligns with mine a little bit. Just I'm still active and I'm not a comedian yet. You know what I mean? But how you doing, bro?
Good. You're active? You're still active?
I'm still active duty Navy, yeah.
I was gonna say Navy, the mustache.
Yeah, bro. We can't grow beards and sailors just got mustaches. That's just what it is.
Petty officer right now, bro.
Hey, yeah. I mean, I'm an E5. I'm gonna ride it out till I die. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. They got me designing like T-shirt designs right now for like the your command shirts.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, I am the least artistic person when it comes to this. You should see me make YouTube thumbnails for the podcast.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my God, it's miserable. I'm out here pulling teeth, and I don't know. Thank God for family and friends because they definitely helped me out a lot.
Yeah, but, good.
Yeah, now I'm still active. I got about another year and a half left, and then I'm probably gonna part ways and peace out.
How long? How much time have you done?
It'll be 8 years in August.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I usually tell people who cross that 10-year year mark to just ride it out, to just finish it. But 8 years, yeah, that's good. That's not bad.
I did my first enlistment, right? My first enlistment was 5 years. Kind of got to that point where I was like, I want to get out, but I'm not ready, right? So I kind of re-enlisted because I didn't really have any guidance. I didn't know what I was going to do. I'm thankful I did, because who knows what would have happened. But by me doing this podcast and reaching out to a whole bunch of different people helped me realize that, there's so many resources. And instead of just calling a 1-800 number, now I have all of these friends and all of these people that I've done episodes with that are like, don't even call the 1-800 number. Just call me and I'll direct you to the right person, right? Yeah. If you want to get a job out of the military, I got you. If you want to go to school of the military, let me know what school you want to go to. If you need to buy a house, and you know what I mean? Anything basically under the sun, I have learned through this podcast. And I'm still getting that BAH right now. So I'm big chilling.
That's good. That's good. What's the BAH in New York now?
I'm not currently in New York. I'm in Virginia, and it's about 2,200 with dependents. I think like 17,500 without. Okay. So, thank God for base pay, because and BAS, it definitely adds up in the long run, I guess. But
100%.
I'm in base housing right now. I'm chilling. Me and my wife, I was like, honey, you want to like go out in town and get like a bougie apartment like we always do? Or do you just want to go to base housing? And she was like, well, if we go to base housing, they'll take your BAH. And she's an ER nurse, so she makes buco bucks. Yeah, so everything she makes, she's just pocketing right now. This way, when we do end up, getting out of the military, we have a nice chunk of change to not put down on a house, because we're going to use that big-ass VA loan.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. Kind of got the little roadmap planned out, man.
Good for you. That's the way it should be, too. Take advantage of that shit, man. Take advantage of the GI Bill, the VA shit. I think you get to apply for unemployment, too. Don't be too prideful.
Within the time, yeah. If as soon as you get out, because you're technically jobless, right?
Yeah,
man.
I think I had it for like a year and a half unemployment, and I was going to school too.
Damn, you like the definition of a comedian. That's crazy, dude.
I was going to school too, and it was collecting that. I was going to school. This was in New York, and I was also I was working full time at a bank. So like 18-hour days, man. But I was fucking. The one thing that I regret not doing is getting into Bitcoin. Because I remember when that shit was starting to happen, and everybody's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Bitcoin this," and I had all this money I could have just fucking splurged. Didn't really have any response. I had $1,000 apartment, a 2-bedroom in Manhattan, in New York, a fucking dream. And just me and my brother, we live in there, and we split that shit down the middle, and it was great. And fucking yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like I should have fucking invested in that Bitcoin bullshit.
Yeah,
So
and
good.
you worked in a bank too, so you had to be hearing it. You got all those people that are just surrounded by money all day long and are hungry for
I
it.
was right across the street from the UN, so we had a lot of foreigners, diplomats that came in and shit like that. Man, and you know what's the thing that fucked me up is that you see these countries that are poor,
Yeah, yeah,
and I was seeing the salaries that their diplomats was pocketing. It's like,
yeah. You know,
oh
like,
my! Every 2 weeks they come in to cash their checks, and it was
yeah,
just like $40,000 and stuff. I'm like, dog, ain't your fucking country starving right now? This is crazy.
yeah. My pockets are hungry though, I guess. Dude, that's wild. Yo, there's some of those people too. Like, I'm gonna say I was reading an article, but everyone knows I wasn't reading shit. I just heard it from somewhere.
Yeah,
There was people who were really big into Bitcoin, and then when Doge became a thing, they sold all of their Bitcoin and put it into Doge, and then when Doge like skyrocketed, they
they
sold it
pulled
from there. So they went from being like thousandaires to like multi-millionaires like within a week. And whoever that dude is, man, fuck him, bro, because he didn't tell me
I
shit
was
about it.
I was actually me and Justin. We were in early with
In Doge.
Dogecoin, thanks to Jake
Oh,
Paul.
thanks to Jay. Hey, shout out Jake Paul. Hey, he's next on the pod, man. That's funny.
When he made a mention of it, I was like, sure, let's see something. Let's see what this was going on. And it started climbing and climbing. I was like, maybe I should buy some more. Let me buy some more. And I had
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I think I put in like $4,000 in Bitcoin when
Holy
it was
shit.
like 3 cents. And then I saw it go up to 76 cents. And I had like this, I didn't know the money was real. I'm like, this can't be real.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
can't be. Me and him, we're tripping. We don't know what to do. Like, do we pull out? Do we wait till it gets to $1? What do we?
Yeah.
What do
Do I
we
go to the
do?
police station and show him my phone? Like, what happens now?
Yeah, like I couldn't believe. I'm like, so this is how they get rich. This is
Yeah.
so easy.
Yeah.
This is so easy.
Yeah. I didn't even
And
have to
I
leave
ended
my
up
house.
pulling out at like 65, like around 60 cents. I pulled out when it hit like 76, 77 cents. I was waiting, and then it just kept dropping, and like around 60 cents, I fucking pulled out. I threw it into Ethereum, lost money there, and I just started losing money everywhere.
Damn.
I
Hey,
couldn't do it, man. That shit was taking over my life. I was like,
hey,
I pulled out. I came out positive, and I came out good, but that shit was taking over my life. That was a full-time job. Never again. I mean,
damn.
I got my hands on Shiba right now, but
Oh, so
I'm not even looking at it right now.
so Shiba, is that the word right now, Shiba?
Shiba's the word. To the moon.
Yeah. Well, hey, uh, everyone's got to start from somewhere, right, Drew? So let's take it back to the beginning. Who are you? Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? And what led you to want to join the United States Army?
Um, Drew Hernandez, creator of a combat veteran, from New York, originally the Bronx.
You're
Grew up. Well, we didn't use that.
no. Oh, okay. My
It was more ooh ooh.
oh shit. Hey, but the normal terminology is bacon, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup on a roll.
Yeah,
If you
I
can say that
know.
fast, that's the test.
Or ham and cheese with an orange drink. If you know, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
What's the yeah? And then uh after I got because I dropped out of high school, but after I got my GED, I joined the army, and a commercial got me. I saw a commercial. I was like, let me see what this is about. I didn't have no information on the army, on the military, or anything like that. It's just impulsive. I've been impulsive my whole life,
Hmm.
and went to the recruiter, passed the test, and shipped off. And yeah, here we are.
Damn.
I
That
regretted
took you.
it. I regretted it the first day of basic, not transition, because you go. There's like a transition where you get your uniforms and stuff, and you kind of just wait for the bus to pick you up a
Yep.
couple
Yep.
days and stuff. So it wasn't that. That was all right. It was the first day when the drill sergeants picked us up because it was like raining, it was cold, it was Missouri, November, it was like fucking cold, and I was just like, damn, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do
Yeah.
this shit.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to leave so bad. I was like, I made a big mistake.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah. I think I got on the wrong plane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was literally me. I was just like, I guess we'll just keep going. And
Yeah,
then
like
you just make friends, and it is what it is.
you got some of those buddy that are like lifelong friends that you did some like weird shit together and some sketchy shit together while you were in basic, and then when you get out, you're like, dude, that fucking sucked, dude. I want some normal fucking underwear. I want my phone. Like I want to eat whatever the hell I want. You know?
The one thing that I never got used to was waking up in the morning, like those 4:30 mornings. I
Yeah.
never got that shit was hard every time. It was hard. I fucking hated it. I never got used to that. I did a basic and my AIT. I did them both in the same. So it was like
Okay.
5.5 months in the same place with the same people and stuff. And it was just like that 4:30 wake up was just like killer every single day. Um, but yeah, it wasn't weird. I mean, about as weird, looking back now, about as weird as it got, we used to have a thing called race wars. I don't know if you guys have that, but it's pretty much when a white is getting jumped by like a black or a
So it is what I was thinking, but I didn't want to say it. Yeah.
it's kind of like prison. We go
Yeah.
race war, and all the
Yeah.
white kids would jump in, and then we wouldn't hurt each other. Obviously,
Yeah.
it became like one big ass wrestling match, and then the white kids would come in and they'll jump a black dude. Race wars, and then
Yeah.
fucking
If you think about it though, like literally compare and contrast the prison system to the military, right? You get 3 square meals. You have to work out. They give you a uniform. They tell you what to do, when to do it. They turn the lights off. They turn the lights on. I'm like, yo, this is fucking prison. Like I'm literally in prison. They took my phone. They won't let me call my mom. This is some bullshit. I'm
yeah,
like, how the fuck did I end up here?
yeah, because they're stripping away your identity. That's why they do it.
Yeah, they literally shave your head. They make everyone kind of look the same. So like, you're not any different than anybody else.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's me standing here with a New York accent, and then there's some guy with Copenhagen still in the back of his teeth, and I'm like, dude, it's been like 4 weeks. How do you still have that?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things they can't take away from us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so you end up after you finish basic, you end up doing a tour in Iraq and Afghanistan. Shortly after that is when you find your passion for comedy, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So kind of walk me through that. What happens with that? Are you just like, my life's a joke, this is a joke, I'm really good at telling jokes?
Nah, man, and I wasn't. I don't think I was good at telling jokes. I think I found a formula that just I found a formula that allowed me to connect with people. That's all it
Okay.
was. Um, like the first video I did, I just pretty much took things that my friends have about each other, and I
Okay.
put it in like a 10 type list, and I was just like, hey, the 10 type. And but I did it knowing that if I can reach my friend, like I started with my friends. I never wanted the veteran
Always.
community. I just wanted to make my friends laugh and something they can connect with.
Yep.
And when it started with my friends, I kind of had a picture that if I can do this right, they would take it and share it with their friends, and then on and so forth. I thought it'd take a few tries and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
it worked out. And honestly, I was nervous. I was super nervous about it. Even in that first video, like you can see the nervousness. Like people think
Mm-hmm.
I'm just acting, I'm playing the part, and it's just like, nah, dog, like,
Yeah.
I'm nervous.
Yeah,
That's me
yeah.
nervous,
I'm human, I.
Yeah. I don't know what to do with my hands, so I do this.
Yeah.
That's all it was. I just didn't know what to do with my hands. But yeah, it ended up working out one after the other. But if you can look back and date back, it's kind of like my first 10, 15 videos. It wasn't really jokes. It was just the information that's in it that people resonated with.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started going into more narrative, more, Soldier and the Wife, going somewhere and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
You could
so
definitely tell how your content kind of changed to.
I started digging in more narratives, but I started looking at things more in a general sense of a soldier in the workplace and stuff. What would be some of the things they would complain about? It would be
Yep.
this, that, this, that, this, that.
Yep.
But it takes characters to bring that to life. I couldn't sit here and dress up as 9 people to convey. No, I'd rather bring people that can bring that kind of energy and to do it, because that's when it's done right.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's pretty much. People would think it's funny, and I think there's some things that I've done that were just like, yeah, that's fucking hilarious. Um,
Yeah.
but I feel like I was a hit or miss a lot of times, and because I was new, I was the new thing. I was the one in the uniform in the video that people didn't think you could be able to do and stuff, right?
Exactly,
That's
man.
what it was. So
Exactly.
people, when it's new and it's fresh and it's a brand new face, people go crazy over it because that's
Hmm.
what it is. It's something that they're actually being part of this rise and the success and this thing that everybody's talking about. So the support's always going to be there. I've always looked at it like, well, make it last. That's what
Yeah.
it's at.
Exactly.
Anybody, when it's new, yeah, sure, they're curious. That's what it is, and they're part of something that's coming up. Make it last, though. That's the math right there. That's the math that you got to do.
That's the hard part. Do you have any insight on how to make something last? Like, just give me an example, like with me and my platform. I don't know if you've looked through any of my social media. Like, how would you take if you were starting a podcast? How would you make it last?
That's why I haven't started a podcast.
No, I definitely get it. So
um,
this
I
venture that
think I
you,
think a podcast is your authenticity, right? A
yeah,
podcast is a reflection of your character, your beliefs, and the shit that you want to talk about, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
so generally, if you want to make something last, people got to fall in love with who you are as an individual.
no,
And
100%.
yeah. When it comes to me, anybody can play this character. All you gotta do is you gotta have a stick to it. You gotta have a gimmick that people would really enjoy. But a podcast, that's your authenticity. You're authentically coming to the screen to give your authentic opinion about something, and you're gonna have people that agree with you, people that don't agree with you. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're always gonna get it from both sides of the fence.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that now, where people will like, everyone gets that hate, right? I don't. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter who you are, and people will be like, I did one video with someone who was like really good on like your VA disability, right? Because he was injured, and he was like, "This is what I did. You don't have to take my advice, but I'm just telling you from my point of view, like what I did. I contacted somebody else who knew what they were doing. I read some books. I did some research, and this is what I found out." And someone was like, "Oh, you're all scammers, and everyone's just trying to get money." And I'm like, listen. That is not like listen to the entire fucking hour-long episode, right? Like that's nothing what he said. He literally just gave you his point of view and his advice. And if you don't like it, fuck off. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So now let's take it back to when you kind of like started this venture, like when you had those videos that actually hit and clicked and got like over 100 million views, right? That was back in 2015.
2016. I want to say end of 2016, early 2017.
Okay, so now where is your life kind of shifting from like you were in the military to now you're a civilian trying to figure shit out?
What do you mean, like now or back then when I got out?
Like back then when you got out, like that transition period. Because when you had that like when you were posting those videos, you were still active, no?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like when
Got it.
when you got out and you were making those videos, making that content,
Yeah.
what was your path? Like what were you trying to accomplish in the long run?
Um, I wasn't trying to accomplish anything.
That's real.
Really, what it was, I was in Iraq. I was a contractor. I wasn't in the military anymore. I left the military in 2011. Um, but I was a contractor at the time, and we were in the trucks and we was talking shit, and somebody was like, "Oh man, I went up to a girl and I gave her this line. I was like, "Baby, you ever slept with a combat veteran?" And I was in the back. I was window licking in the back, and I thought it was hilarious. I was like,
Yeah.
"This is fucking hilarious." And I thought, somebody should make something like that. And at that time, it was already being done with Matt Best and his guys, kind of, right? Where
Mhm.
they were doing their little drinking stuff and veterans in the gym and all that crap. But I didn't know. I wasn't really tuned into anything. I just knew that I wanted to do something,
Mhm.
and that created the idea of like, let me do something for my friends that kind of resonate in that sense that we can all relate to, and that's really where my mind was. Yeah, yeah. I wasn't trying to find myself. I kind of said contracted. I'm gonna die here. This is what I'm gonna end up doing the rest of my life.
Yeah. Well,
The
huh?
pay's good, the vacations are good. I can't complain. I'm single. I don't got kids, pocketing all this money. So for me, it was just kind of like, I'll do these little videos on the side, but this is where I want to stay.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then
yeah.
when shit starts taking off, you don't know where things might go. So I left. I left my job because I kind of felt like I've made my connections in my network and my relationship where it was just like, well, if I want to come back, I'll come back.
Yeah.
Let me go do this for a while, and that's
Uh-huh.
what I did.
Yeah, it's kind of like how it goes. Like I feel like a lot of like service members do that when they get out. They kind of go back to the military in a sense, whether they work for a contractor or work for a company that's close knit with the military. And you can tell when these dudes walk in, man, because they got a beard and they just have like that stigma to them where you're like, "Fuck, man!" Like, yeah, like you were in the military, and they're like, "Yep." But you're not, so fuck you. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? And those are always the funny guys who like kind of get the humor and like you're able to like talk around and like not be afraid to like say some dumb shit and then they
Mm-hmm.
go tell or do whatever. but
Yeah.
but now you said, right, you kind of left maybe that like that dream job in the ideal eyes of like an active duty member who is
Mm-hmm.
transitioning to get out. What When you left because you knew that there was a bunch of different paths and a different direction opening up, what happened after that?
Nothing good, honestly. Um, when I left, I was talking to a friend of mine who who wanted to kind of do it together,
Okay.
and I was like, yeah, sure. I'm always down to break bread with my friends.
Yep.
Like, yeah, sure. So I moved out to Vegas from New York. I drove out to Vegas, and I made this big investment in like t-shirt printing because I was just like, well, I want to make t-shirts to kind of sub because I'm not really. It was during the days where you're not really making money outside of YouTube, and YouTube wasn't paying me at that point.
Hmm.
Wasn't paying me still. I was getting a lot of my views on Facebook and stuff. Um, so I made that investment, and I went to Vegas and made the investment, and I was really broke at that by that point. And I was like, yo, I need to sell t-shirts so that I can get some income coming in. And this friend actually ended up cornering me and was like, well, if you're going to make t-shirts out of my house, I think I should have some ownership in this. And I
Hmm.
thought about it. And for me, I was kind of like, well, this is my friend, if we're going to do this together. But then, logic started hitting in. And it's just like, well, hold on now, because if I give you ownership, you can leave. I still got to be here. They're not
Yeah.
here for you, really.
Yep.
So I was fighting everything in my being to like give her something, give my friend something. But there's just things that I just can't do. Like if there's something in my body that's telling me don't do it,
Hmm.
I can't do it. Even if I want to, I can't because I don't feel good. And I couldn't do it. Wouldn't let me sell any t-shirts or anything like that. I had no money coming in. I was like, then why the fuck am I here if I can't do nothing, you know? And she was like, I guess you should go home. And
Hmm.
I was like, wow. So I
Yeah.
went home, no apartment at that point because my brother had rented my side of the apartment that we had in Manhattan. He had already rented that out. So I had to go live with my mom, sleeping on the fucking sofa, 30 years old, bro. Broke. I can't go back to work at that point because they had a wait list of people that they couldn't front load me. Like she was like, dude, I want to get you in here, but there's a wait list. It's like, fuck. Because
Everything
I
just
couldn't go
started
back to,
spiraling down and down and down. Yeah.
I was in a dark space and I was like, I gotta still make videos like this? This
Yeah.
fucking sucks. So my uncle, I spoke to my uncle and he was like, dog, get the fuck out of that depression already. Like,
Hmm.
figure it out. That's life.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to adulthood. Figure it out. And I was like, all right. So that's when I put the gas. I put my foot on the gas and just like I'm gonna make this brand one of the biggest brands in this community. And that's what I did. Just every week, multiple times a week, just creating new content and content and content. And long and behold, a couple months, I get my first sponsorship, and now I have income coming in.
Hell
So,
yeah. I love that, dude.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
that I haven't gotten my first sponsor yet, but I know that'll be like a milestone. It's like, bro, I've been busting my ass since September 11th, man. Just trying to produce content, trying to hit up guests. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like that saying. It's like, you missed a train. Who cares? There's another one in 4 minutes. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? It's like, no matter what you do, like, don't get yourself down. Because at the end of the day, like, who the fuck's going to pick you up? Like, nobody, your mom and your dad and your family can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? It's you who's got to get off that fucking 30-year-old couch and put your shoes on, put your hat on, and go make some bread, man. Go do some shit.
I've come to learn that a door is always going to open somewhere else. And I've
Yeah,
got to learn that it's not always on your terms, on when you want it.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's a hard pill to fucking that's a hard
yeah.
pill to swallow.
No, definitely,
Um,
man.
but I've even through ups and downs and stuff, I've always felt like I'm being taken care of. Like, chill, it's not as bad as you think. Something's gonna come through,
Yep.
and that's always been an answer that has never failed me.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I appreciate you sharing that. That's like the exact reason why I do shit like this. Like, why
Mm-hmm.
I kind of started this whole thing. Because you could look at somebody like yourself, right? You got I'm going to throw a ballpark, 50,000 followers across social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
Life wasn't handed to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you didn't come out of the military with thousands of followers and just like it flew right into itself and take off. Nah,
Yeah.
man. Like, there was a point where you were like, yo, man, like rock bottom hurts. Like, you know what I mean? So I appreciate you, like, telling us your downfalls, because
Yeah.
apparently, you know what I mean? Like,
I've gotten a
you're
lot of
doing great
failures.
now.
I've gotten a lot of failures. I've gotten public failures. Really, the community has seen me try something out and fail right in front of them.
Yeah.
More failures than I've had success, and it's a gripe that I have because it's kind of like it forces me to have to do it myself and stuff. And I wish I had the resources to just say, this is what I want to do. I want to put a team together, but it doesn't work. Privilege is the person that can put together a team of people and just have it work out. It's very hard to find people that can stay on the same page as you. But at the end of the
Hmm.
day, and Gary Vee says that shit where it's like, that's your shit, that's not theirs.
Yep.
Why should that matter to them as much as it matters to you and stuff?
No, yep.
So it's very difficult to put a team together, and oftentimes, um, I've always had to do it myself and figure it out.
Now, did you put a team together in 2019 when you picked up and moved to LA?
Yeah, yeah. I when I came out here, I needed a videographer right away, so I started. I put out a listing. Videographer wanted, and I started interviewing people just because I wanted to catch a vibe with somebody.
Yep.
And I was very fortunate to have found somebody who was also new to LA, but kind of had this eye for
Hmm.
filming. And then my dude Justin, he came into the picture because I was filming a video um, with my videographer that I had just hired, and he stopped me on Hollywood, and I was like, dog, I'm doing a video tomorrow. If you want to come through. And yeah, he showed up. He showed up ready with cameras and lights and stuff like that, and that kind of preparation. Like, I like because that's kind of like on my speed with things.
Yep.
So yeah, and then we were doing enough content together that we decided to move in with each other, and then we around 2019, especially during the pandemic, we just started pumping shit out in the living room. Like fuck it, start doing it together.
Yeah, I was gonna say COVID, right? I did an episode where it's COVID, the good, the bad, the ugly, right?
Hmm.
And that's not for everybody.
We need another COVID.
I,
I'm all for a pandemic, brother.
Hey, and I was literally gonna say. I mean, it gave me, I was one of those dudes who was on deployment, and like right before we came home from deployment, they like extended us another 6 months. So my 6 month deployment turned into a 12.
Hmm.
It is what it is. I was still getting paid, right? So I can't be mad about shit. But I
Yeah.
think for you and your career, yeah, COVID and the pandemic definitely helped out your career, right? Kind of give me some insight as to how it did help your career.
Um, just the viewership. The viewership was high, but
Yeah,
at the time I had already a sponsorship manager trying to get me sponsorships, and because the viewership was high, he was able to get sponsorships like every week, which was the money was good
that's
at that.
dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where I was like, "Yo, chill, hold on,
Yeah.
it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
I feel like a product bus over here. Chill." And but yeah, that was it's because everybody was home. Nobody had nothing to do. Everybody was on the internet. So
Yeah.
it was the
Literally,
perfect
dude.
what a
E-
fucking window it was for anybody
Everything,
during.
everything took over. Streaming took over. YouTube took over. Just
Yeah.
anything that had to do with technology was kind of just up and rising, and then anything that had to do with the stock market, just went really down to shit.
Hmm.
But who gives a fuck? Because I'm staying home paying rent, right? Why go out
Yeah.
if I pay rent?
Yeah. Especially if you're out here in LA, you ain't have to pay rent.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Well, I think there's always vacancy at Skid Row if you want to make it over there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Hey,
always.
so you originally went to LA for acting, correct?
Hmm.
So what happened with that? Are you still like doing some acting things or?
Yeah, whenever my agent gets through the door, I'll audition for. I've had some pretty close calls with some at some prominent roles that I just never ended up booking. Um, yeah. I came out here to film a short film. I kind of crowdfunded part of the funding for it,
Okay.
and the film never got done. During the pandemic, I put more money into it. The
Mm,
film still didn't get done, and it got to the point where it was just like, why is this person still asking me for more fucking money
yeah.
when I've given this person all the money they needed to get this film done? And from then on out of that experience, that terrible experience, really, because that's what it was. There's no shade to anybody that was attached to it, but when you're making a personal investment and you got your community that also made the investment, you got to deliver something. And the fact that nothing was delivered, yeah, sure, it has nothing to do with you. They're not coming after you.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
want
yeah.
answers from me, and it never got delivered. And I had a hard time getting the files for that project. It was being held hostage, and I ended up getting it back. But I'm at the point where it's just like that. The film's in the back burner. It ain't never gonna get done. Um,
That's great. We got some unreleased Drew out there. That's
yeah.
wild.
Well, after that experience, I teamed up with Justin, and we started doing our own proof of concepts projects that we want to do. Because specifically, I wanted to know what went wrong because I was so new at it. I just didn't know.
Yeah, yeah,
You can tell me any excuse, I won't know. I'm new at this.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So when we started doing our own shit, I then realized I was like, I just hired the wrong people. You guys were all the wrong people to hire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, oh, we're
Yeah.
waiting for permits. All you gotta do is just go online and file a permit and pay for it right there. Boom, done.
Yeah. I mean,
Simple
I
shit
never had
like
to pay
that.
for a permit. I just go and get it done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Fuck a
yeah,
permit.
that's the thing. Like going to a park or doing some shit, like on a smaller
Yeah.
scale, right? Like, you don't need a permit, bro. Just mind your business. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it was just the wrong people, and I had to learn through that. I had to learn that it was that through the process of doing our own thing. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, so all right. So you got all that, and after all of these trial and errors with, going back to New York, prior to that making T-shirts, trying to do the whole acting thing. When did this whole you standing up on stage, holding a microphone, telling jokes come into play?
Yeah. I had gotten a motorcycle.
Okay.
I had gotten a motorcycle around that time when I decided to do it, because I was getting ready to kill myself, and I figured being on a motorcycle is the way I wanted to go out. I was just in a dark space in a dark, foggy head. I just, you try to find some purpose. Like, I get it when people are like, "Oh, there's purpose," and just having that purpose is so important sometimes. I was there too,
Yeah.
and I was brother. I've ridden a bike once. I got a 750 Gixxer, got on the highway immediately.
Oh
On some
no.
fearless shit. Then I
Yeah.
got an R1 as my second bike and started pushing it to 140, 150 on that fucking highway. Adrenaline, yes. But it was the risks that I was taking on these bikes. And I was I wasn't on my way to, but that's why I got the bike. Because if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be on this.
Yeah.
And and one day I was just fucking, like, I was heavy in my thoughts, and I was just like, yeah, I gotta do something. I gotta fucking do something. And and I was outside of the Laugh Factory out here on Sunset. There's a traffic light right outside it, and I shit you not, just something internally, like internal, was like, that's what you need to be doing now. And I was like, stand up.
Yeah.
And again, that reassurance, that I don't know what it was, but it was just like I can hear it. Like, I was so connected to it. It was just like, stand up, start doing stand up. And I just felt good about it, just with the idea of, like, okay, I'm gonna do stand up. I felt good about it. And I think it led, like, the journey led into it, because all the sketches and the skits and the parodies that I've done has given me a more polished eye to what's funny, what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel is funny. And by this time, I already know how to communicate to my community in a funny way, because I've just gathered all those years of experience and trial and error, that I can package this in a way that I can deliver something. Because had I thought about this back in 2016, it wouldn't have worked. Didn't have the experience to do it. This wouldn't have worked. But
Yeah.
now that I have everything that I've learned on my journey, it ended up working. And even now, I don't think I'm that funny.
Yeah.
I kind of,
You just have a good way of explaining things.
yeah.
And
But
it's all about the punchline, no?
yeah. But I'm on stage, and I hear them laughing. I hear the big laughs, and I'm just like, there are some shows where the audience stand up. They give me a standing ovation.
That's fire.
Uh, so with that, I kind of feel a new sense of purposeness
Hmm.
that comes with this stand up, that I'm really, really in love with. It's not the self gratification of, like, oh, I can make a room laugh, but it's more of a sense of belonging. Like, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
if there's God's plan, this is it. This
Well,
this was it.
you also hear the stories of, like, like the famous comedians, right? Like, I always listen to Joe Rogan's podcast, because that's just one of the inspirations behind a podcast, and also
Hmm.
comedy in itself. And him and Joey Diaz always talk about, going to, like, going to the club, or just being, like, in the shop, and just the community of people around them. It's like nonstop. You know what I mean? So you
Hmm.
kind of fall into that, and maybe they'll help you, like, overcome that fear, I guess, because making people laugh behind a screen is completely different than making them laugh in person,
hundred
right?
percent, completely
Yeah.
different. A
So
hundred percent.
you kind of need those friends to be like, you fucking suck. You know what I mean? To let you know that, like, it'll all be okay, bro. There's
And it
not.
happened. It
Yeah, bro.
happened. It
Oh, it
happened to
did.
me.
Okay, let me
Oh
hear it.
yeah, it happened to me. Um, I was doing open mics because I was just like, I need to know. I need to feel it. I need to
Is that
know.
how everyone starts out? Every comedian starts out an open
have
mic.
to do open mic. Don't ever think you can do it without doing some open mics. You're gonna fail in front of people, so you might as well fail in front of other comics.
Yeah.
You
People
know?
that are failing as well. Yeah.
Well, not failing, because an open mic, that's the gym. That's where you go to try out material.
Okay. Yeah,
You
but
know,
still, when you're a fat guy in a gym wearing a tight shirt, that ain't funny.
hey, as long as you're on a treadmill.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, you trying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, I went to an open mic. I was gonna do 5 minutes on stage, and I had already written. I've wrote like 20 pages, man, of just nonstop writing.
Yeah, bro. I
And
get it.
I dissected it. I picked my 5 minutes, and I'm just like, ooh, winners,
Yeah.
golden. This is gonna land, this and that. Man, I went on that stage. Yeah, I went on that stage, and I was like, when that first joke didn't land,
You're
all
like,
you hear is that silence.
yeah,
It's like crushing internally, like it rips the soul right out of you. But
yeah,
I remember, what was it? Who was it? I don't know, somebody. Bill Burr talked about like his first time bombing and stuff like that. And I remember what he said and stuff. And internally, I was like, nah, see it through. Because
yeah,
all I want to do after that first joke is run the fuck out. Like, I'm
yeah.
done.
Bounce. Yeah.
I made a big
I'm not
mistake.
even paying my fucking bill. I'm out. Yeah.
I made a big mistake here.
Yeah.
I saw it through, and I finished it. I finished the entire thing. Um, and then I sat down, and I was like, okay, got it done. But I guess I told the joke that a comic was offended with,
Uh-oh.
and that comic went up next and just roasted me. So I'm
Yeah, but
sitting.
isn't that like the whole thing with comedy? Is like it's comedy. You know what I mean? Like nothing's offensive. It shouldn't be.
Yes, comics are sensitive, super
Okay.
sensitive.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
but hers was personal. It wasn't like you offended me. It was more, you offended me on a personal level.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna fucking burn you. And I'm
Yeah.
sitting there. I remember sitting there, and the first thing she did was just, really, and just went at me. And I'm sitting there like a dumbass, like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Swear to God, smiling and everything, because I don't know how to react to this. This is my first time, right? This is my
Yeah.
first experience to this world. So I'm like, oh, comics can't take a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, and in my head, again, I'm inside my head talking about, run, get the fuck out now. This is
Yeah.
embarrassing. And in my head, I'm like, trial by fire, stay in it. You're getting baptized right now. That's all this is. And thinking about it, I wish somebody would have approached me. It's like, hey man, I can tell you're new. Let me give you a word of advice.
Yeah.
And this and that, and told me, somebody that could advise me a little bit. Nobody came up to me. I was shunned immediately. And when the show was done, I fucking left. I was like, yeah, that fucking sucked. So it kind of refocused me a little bit. Like, okay, I don't want to censor myself, because I don't want to go into this shit with the idea of that I have to be careful with what I want to say. No.
Correct.
I'm not jumping into this shit like this. But just be funnier. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Nothing's off limits as long as you're funny. Like they could talk about this race shit and all this other crap, like there's things you don't say, this, fuck that. As long as you're funny, say whatever the fuck you want to say. You know what I'm saying?
I get
And
that. Yeah.
people try to, and I see this a lot in the comedy world, where people try to draw tapes, right? If you're white, you can't talk about blacks. You know what I'm saying?
I get
And
it.
it's energy like that, and it's just like, no, you can just be funny.
Yeah.
Be funny.
Don't come out with this some off the wall shit.
I went to a show where these white dudes were talking about the Mexican culture. Fucking hilarious. The whole room was laughing. But if you're going to talk about a different culture and you're not funny, then it's the problem. That's where the problem lies, because you come off more of a douchebag than you do with something that, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you just have to be funny. And if you're going to be funny, you got to do them at open mics, because
Okay.
that's where you're going to know.
Yeah. I had the opportunity. This is like something like like my first duty station, maybe like and I just because you're a comic, I'm not trying to like get out there or whatever, right?
Give me a second.
But now you good, man. Hey, we're gonna take a break real quick. He's gonna attend to something, but I do
No, I'm
want to
back.
say,
I'm back. I'm back.
oh, that was quick. We were closing the door. All right, and we're back into
In a
it.
second.
So yeah. So I actually went to Ventura Harbor Comedy Club. I was stationed in Port Hueneme in Ventura Naval Base, and we went to go see Trevor Wallace. He's like one of those iconic that started off like behind the screen and then kept doing his comedy and whatnot. And he actually hit me up on Instagram and he was like, "Dude, I seen you guys at the show. You guys were fucking funny. Like, come back. Like, let's get a drink. Like, I'll sign whatever the fuck." And I was like, "What the fuck?" That kind of got me into like the idea of like, maybe I could fucking do this. You know what I mean? This is just some normal dude from some bullshit town in California. It is what it is. My last duty station like a year ago, I had some buddies, I had my wife, and we went to open mic and kind of the same concept. I had like 20 pages of some bullshit written down, and I literally picked out some things. I was like, all right, I can open with this, yada yada yada, and then relay it back to what I open with, and it'll be funny. I just didn't have the balls, man. It was literally palms are sweaty, knee weak, arms are heavy moment, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this, man.
That's what I encourage that a lot in my shows. That if you're thinking about, you ever got curious, and if I'm in your town, I encourage veterans, hit me up. I'll put you on stage. I'll give you a few minutes.
Oh, hey, you're not far from I don't know how to say it, Lafayette, North Carolina. So yeah. I'm pulling up. I'll be there. I'll be there. I got to give you some merch when I see you out there.
We had one guy in Louisiana who he hit me up and he wanted to have some time, and I was like, sure, send me your material. And he was like, oh, I've never done this before. And I was like, well, this is what I need from you. Because I was curious myself. I was like, just put your phone up, record yourself performing it, and send that.
That's even worse. Well, that's even worse. I'd rather do open mic than record my... Honey, hold the fucking phone straight. Yeah.
So he did it. He did it. And I told him, I'll give you 3 minutes. I'll give you 3 minutes on stage. And he killed. He went on stage, in front of 400 people.
Shout out him.
In front of 400 people, went on stage, killed, did amazing. And he passed his time. He did like 5 minutes, 5.5, but he had them laughing. And it's just like, you got to take that step, man. You got to take that step. And the best part about it is that it's my community. It's the veteran community, right?
Exactly.
The people that are coming out to see me. So the veteran community is like the best audience you can hope for, because you can go in any direction with them. You want to go dark, you can go dark. They love that. You want to go silly, go silly. They love that. They're there because they want to laugh. Unlike, I've been in front of Latinos. I've been in front of a Latino community that I just wasn't as funny to them. They just been, because they don't know me. They kind of like, But with veterans, it's so fucking different because it don't matter who's on stage to them. Just like be funny. Make them, because they want to laugh. That's what they want to do. When it comes to like a different audience, you have to make me laugh. What are you gonna say? But veterans, they want to laugh. It doesn't matter what you say. That you can fart on stage, shit your pants. They're gonna laugh at that shit. They're gonna be like, "Oh shit, look at it."
Tell a dick joke.
And the veteran community, they're so fucking rowdy that it creates the perfect environment for the way I can describe it is like a fucking rap battle. They're just engaging. And they'll hit you with shit in the middle of your fucking jokes. They'll hit you with shit that could throw you off, might not throw you off, but man, that's how I see a stand-up comedy room of people that's just like engaging with you. It's almost a resemblance of Kill Tony, if you will.
Okay.
Kill Tony is very, very engaging, also very, very freestyle-y and stuff like that. So that's one of my favorite things about this show, that we're gonna have the veteran community. You can't go wrong with these motherfuckers.
Yeah, you've been with the veteran community for a while, right? And you helped that veteran that wanted to come on stage. Now you have done a lot of stand-up showcases with the veteran community or with the military in general. Can you elaborate on maybe some highs or maybe some on-stage lows with those communities?
I don't think I've had an on stage low. Because I just it's just I think my lowest, my onstage low is probably my first show, and that's me like I hope I'm funny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even that show was like it was good. It was
Yeah.
like, dog,
Oh.
that's your first time in front of people. Like you did fucking solid. Like all
Yeah.
the comedians that I had with me, they've been doing it for a while. They were just like, bro, your first, you killed. Um, it's different now because I have all this experience now. I
Mm-hmm.
want to go back to like, hey, come see the progress.
Nah,
But
nah. You
but
say
I've
that now. You say that now. But someone who's at that progress where like I'm still afraid to go to open mic, so I just tell my wife I'm too drunk to do it.
yeah, no, I look at it. I haven't had a low. I
That's
have
good.
I have actually. I did.
Uh,
I did.
did you did
I
you catch
bombed in
yours?
front.
You did.
I bombed in front of homeless veterans.
Oh.
Homeless. I got invited to do something, to do a set for homeless veterans, and they didn't recognize me, which was cool.
Yeah.
They didn't find me funny at all, but I started wrong, man. I was like, anybody here? Anybody here 100%? Anybody here 100%? And they're like,
Yeah.
dog, we don't get that. That's why we're
That's
homeless.
why we're homeless. If you think about it, it is kind of funny, dude.
And
Yeah.
I'm in my head. I'm like, well, this next joke isn't gonna work, but let me
Yeah.
go ahead and say it anyway because that's all I prepared for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just like, ah,
Yeah.
no.
Anyone here use their VA loan?
Yeah. My
There's
girl,
so
my
many
girl.
ways you could have went with that.
You know what's funny is that I have bought my camera with me because I like recording my sets, and my
Of
camera,
course.
I had left my batteries, so I couldn't even really record anything, and it was for a good reason because just that bomb was like gut wrenching. It was like, oh my god. And I've
Uh,
always said, I've always said it, man. It's kind of like know what you're gonna say on stage because I also bombed at my girl's show where
really?
like, yeah, where I bombed, dude. I
Yeah.
bombed,
That's okay.
and it's the process. It's if you look at there's a documentary. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called The Comedy Store, and it talks about the history of the Comedy
Of
Store.
the yeah.
And in one episode, there's an episode about Richard Pryor that he goes to open mics to kind of try out material. And there are days that he's just not funny. There are days where it's just like he had like two good jokes, and it's just like, wow, that's the great Richard Pryor, as they were saying in the. And it's
Yeah.
just that's what the process is. And with my girl's show, I went up with the wrong material to begin with. It was gut wrenching that first minute. Oh, you can hear a needle drop at the back of the fucking room.
Mm.
It was just like nothing. All you hear is like the AAC ventilation
Yeah.
just rumbling above us and shit.
Bottles
And I'm just like,
clinking. And you're
oh
like,
my god, how am I bombing right now?
yeah.
And but like I did a contrast. I was talking to my guy Tommy, where I was just like, "Dog, look at this day, and this was the next day. Look at the fucking difference." And it's just like it's everything's so critical. Like the first words that come out of your mouth, like what do you say to these guys and stuff? That's really gonna set the tone for the rest of your set. And it's a learning process for me because people often think, "Oh yeah, no." And it's just like, dog, I just started last year. Don't think I'm a pro. Like all these motherfuckers have been doing it for 10, 15 years. I'm nowhere
Yeah.
near their level.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like,
But I've been blessed enough.
give me time.
I've been blessed enough to hold my own, to be able to do what I do, and that people accept me for it. Right now, I'm at the point in my writing that I'm really like I'm pushing the line a little bit, where it's kind of like,
But you can though. I feel like you've given yourself the credibility to push that line a little bit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
how it's how it goes.
I've always looked at it like just be funny. If I'm gonna ride that line, just be funny. Just have
Yeah.
that punchline ready. So
Yeah. There's a lot of things you could talk about. You're right. In the veteran community that anybody will find funny,
yeah,
especially homeless vets using their VA loan. That's fucking hysterical.
yeah, yeah.
So now, we see you doing small cities in Texas. Now we see you moving to states, and soon you say you're going to be moving to stadiums, right?
No, countries, not stadiums.
Countries. Well, I mean, they got stadiums in other countries and shit. I didn't
Nah,
specify.
dog. I'm still doing everything myself, so I don't want the responsibility of a stadium, even if I can't pack it. I am
All
fucking
right.
good.
Well, you let me know. I know a guy. He has a
Yeah.
stadium. I mean, it's a little league stadium, but it's still a stadium. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
I'll take it.
Yeah. So, all right. So you're doing all of these states now, right? Now, all of these states, this whole lineup you have coming. You go into Denver, you go into Fort Sill, you go into Vine Grove, and then you come in towards me out here in Lafayette. I can never say that fucking word right. I have buddies who live over there. I just can never say it fucking right.
Yeah.
So, are these all veteran shows that you're coming out to do?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I incorporate. It's a mix. I incorporate some military humor to it, but I also incorporate, like, I got jokes about my girlfriend. I got jokes about my family and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
there's things I try to find the relatability within, not just my military jokes, but like my personal life too.
Yeah. Like taking care of a sick Puerto Rican girlfriend. That's
Yeah,
definitely one of them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I use there's one joke that I talk about, like that. There's like, as soon as I got out the military, I started breaking the law immediately. Like, I would
Yeah.
take every red light in my path, and every time I get pulled over, I pulled the veteran card. I always had my hat on the display or my
Yeah.
jacket and stuff like that. I wasn't in the
Yeah.
service no more, but I
Take the
still
car.
had the uniform,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
used that shit.
Yeah. I paid for this motherfucker. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
exactly, and it always got me out of jail. So
Yeah. Well, no, it always kept you out of jail.
yeah, true. It always kept me out of jail. Yeah.
That's wild, dude. That's wild. Now, with comedy, right? You kind of found your passion. Now, how do you write material for the audience that you're talking to? Like, what do you like?
I,
Like, what is your? Do you need to like sit down in a Starbucks? Do you have like a big beanbag chair? Like, what do you do to get in the zone?
um I play music. I play like, Spotify has like a chill playlist that just
Okay.
has like really relaxing music. So I'll just sit here and I'll go, because I got a ton of fucking jokes. So I'll go through some jokes, and with the experience that I'm gathering, because you never stop learning. I'll look at a joke and I'll see what's wrong with it immediately. And I'm like, oh wait, I can do this. I can change this and add this and that and that. And that. I mean, that's the process of building a joke, really. So yeah, and that's how it is. Or I'll watch something that it gives me a thought about something else
Yeah.
that I can talk about. So yeah, that's all you can. I find inspiration out of anything. I can watch. I'm the type of guy that I can sit here and write and listen to a movie and still stay in my zone and still know what's going on in the fucking movie without having to look at it.
That's dope. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
good. That's good credibility. That's very good discipline. Kind of what I wanted to. I just stuttered a little bit. It's all good. Kind of what I wanted to like tie in a little bit, right, with the whole mental health aspect of the military. We all
yeah.
know it's a big, huge thing, and I always tell people, hey, man, like shit ain't bad for you; it's bad for everybody, right? Like
Hmm.
no one's ever alone. So like, kind of pick a hobby, or try to occupy your mind, right?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
with comedy, maybe someone out there listening is like, maybe this is something I want to try. So for
right.
someone who's seasoned and I'm going to say professional in the comedy field, maybe what you do, they can also try out as well. Like not everybody has to be like, rent some studio time to be a rapper. Someone can just take a shower and think of some lyrics, write them down on a piece of paper, and make it work.
Right.
Yeah, no, I just want to say thank you for sharing, man. Because for if I want to hear, I don't the dogs don't like that one.
Hey,
Nah,
stop
you
it.
good, you good. For someone to watch batting practice from like a high school, or watch Alex Rodriguez take batting practice, you want to
Uh-huh.
you want to know how the professionals do it to kind of get that gist of it.
Right. Yeah. 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 And that's what I did. As soon as I said, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. Immediately started doing my research. I started watching
You
the
have to.
Richard Pryor, the George Carlins. I started watching Dangerfield. I started watching the one person that blew me away, and I was a Lyft driver trying to make some side money. I picked up this old Jewish couple from a museum, a Basquiat. They were doing like a Basquiat showing,
Hmm.
and And I told, because you never know who's in your car. So I was like, oh, no, I'm a stand-up comedian, this and that. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Are you funny? And I was like, yeah. And I threw them some jokes, and they were laughing. And she was like, you know who you remind me of? Freddie Prinze. And I'm thinking the actor. I'm like, the actor? I Still Know What You Did Last Summer?
Yeah.
No, his father. His father. I was like, I don't know who his father is. She goes, his father's Freddie Prinze. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to do your research. And I looked him up, and the dude blew me the fuck away. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What is this? Did not know anything about them. What the fuck is this? Blew me away. Just his approach, his just so easy. He was just so easy, just an easy delivery. It was so great watching him and learning from him. Because look, I got his book right here.
Hell
The Freddie Prinze, a great book, by the way. I started watching it, and I was just like, I saw everything, documentaries, anything on him, because I needed to know more about this dude. And he blew me away. He was one of my biggest inspirations, if anything. George Carlin was also another one that blew my fucking head off, because I was just like, when he did the Carnegie Hall show in, I think it was '87, the first thing he went on stage, he said was you ever notice that the people who are anti-abortion are the people you typically wouldn't fuck? First thing on stage, the first thing he says, he doesn't say, hey, New York, this and none of, goes on stage, grabs the mic. You ever notice that the people who are anti-abortion are people you wouldn't typically fuck? I was like,
they just got, okay.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a relic. This man is fearless. Cool.
He's got some delivery.
Yeah, and just seeing that, and and then rewatching Dave Chappelle in the eyes of somebody who wants to do stand-up comedy, you start picking up on structure and shit like that. And I started doing my homework immediately.
Who are some, so in lieu of all the comics you just mentioned that you kind of look up to, who are some comics in the future that you would like to work with?
I like all these new guys. I personally, a lot of the old guys, like the George Lopez and all these other guys.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I look up to them so high. I never want to meet them.
Yeah,
I never want to meet them.
Yeah, I get that.
I met one legend that fucking broke my heart, and I said, no, I don't want, because I hold these people at a certain, you know what I'm saying? I don't want that heartbreak again. So I don't want to work with none of them. I respect them enough to stay the fuck away from them. But like all these new guys, I really fucking like. The Renee Vacas, the fucking Julio Diaz, really, Mark Vieira. I've spoken to Mark Vieira before. He's fucking, I love Mark. I can never do what Mark Vieira does, because he just impersonates Latina women. He impersonates them so well, and his storytelling's fucking amazing. And Mark Vieira isn't one of these new guys. He's up there with Eddie Griffin, and not to call him old either, but you know what I mean. Yeah, he's
I get you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
In time and service, if we will.
Yeah,
he's up there with them. Yeah, he's up there with them. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Hey man, sky's the limit. I think
I saw Trevor Wallace on stage.
I love him. I love him. I think he's so, I don't know. He's just, I feel like I grew up with him, like my group of friends would like fucking like throw rocks at his group of friends like across the mall. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like he's never changed. Like, like fame never got to him. He was just like, I'm still the same motherfucker, and I don't know. He's just, and he has that relatable humor where he's not in the military, but to like our era and our age group, it'll never go away. You know what I mean? Unless the big clock stops somewhere and I stop aging or he stops aging, it's always going to be funny for us. You know?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Drew Hernandez, I want to say thank you, because I kind of want to wrap this up a little bit. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to say thank you so much for coming out here today, man. I wish nothing but the best. Your career, I've been watching you for a hot minute now, man, and your career is literally taking off, and your comedy's just getting better and better. Whereas to the point where I send my wife shit, and she's just like, "What now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much." But anything for you? Anything going on in your career? Anything you want to shout out?
Nah, man, I'm just, it's hard for me because I'm doing a lot of the work myself, um, in this comedy space.
Yeah,
So I don't really. I'm kind of taking everything a day at a time. I'm kind of taking everything, you know. They always say, and I said this in the last podcast where they were like, "Where do you want to be?" This and that, and I should have answered that a little bit correctly. But I don't look at things long term anymore. I stopped looking at the end goal because when I run my 2 miles, I never look at where the end is. I'm
I
always looking
gotcha.
five feet in front of me on the ground. That's where my eyes is always at. So whenever I talk about my goals and stuff like that, I stop looking at where the end game is. 'Cause right now I'm just taking it a day at a time. So I don't know where the end game is. I don't
Humble.
have any bigger goals outside of what's in front of me now. And what's in front of me is the next 5 shows. And then
Yeah.
we'll work on more shows and more shows and more shows. But for right now, because I'm doing a lot of the work myself,
Hmm.
that I'm just like, I got to take things a step at a time, so because it'll drive me fucking crazy. So the end goal, there is no end goal, there is no long term. I just want to continue doing this, and I want to have fun doing this because I don't want to. I've been at a place, especially with social media, where everything has exploded for me, that this shit just stopped being fun. This
Yeah,
shit just
I
became
get you.
something that I felt there was a responsibility to the community, but it wasn't something that I was having fun with anymore. And I don't want that direction to go towards comedy anymore,
I
because you
get
would
that.
be surprised that in this community it's gotten to the point that my popularity was so big that people needed something from me a little too much. And even today it kind of still happens where people just feels like I'm the answer to their problems and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
when it comes to like I protect this comedy thing a little bit more than I did with my brand on social media, because I want this to stay fun. I want
Yeah.
this to be something that I really enjoy, something that I'm having fun doing, and something that I want to continue doing. Because there was a point with social media that I just didn't want to do it anymore. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
There's
And
a
even
difference
I'm at
between
that
a
point
job and a
now.
paid hobby.
Yeah, I'm at that point now. Like I haven't released a new video in God knows how long. It's either repost or Justin's getting with Peter and they're doing the video together.
Hmm.
But I'm just not inspired to like get in the uniform again to be like, oh man, NCO this, soldier that, and I'm fucking so done with that for me, my stand up and what I can bring to the table with stand up is far more important, but also so much more fun, especially when it's in person, because you get the energy right there, right in front of you. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? And like you said, you can be funny online, but the real test is in person. Can you be
Yep.
funny on stage?
Yep.
And those are two different chemistries right there. And I've been fortunate enough that I can be funny on stage. So I just want this. My only goal is just to have fun. That's
Yeah.
all I care
Don't
about.
worry about a 30-second reel. Worry about a 45-minute show. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like
Yeah.
that's what you look forward to. When you get to see somebody. You know, I see this date, right? It's May 11th. Now I'm gonna look forward to May 11th. Now I hope you
Yeah.
put all your effort and everything you got into that show on May 11th.
That's Fayetteville,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Fayetteville.
yeah. See, you can't even fucking say it. Yeah, yeah. Fayetteville. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you could tell, and it's just like the whole like build up. That I could tell when you put everything into your show on May 11th. Where I'm gonna be like, damn, like this was worth the 3.5 hour drive. That's how far it is. But
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna make the trip. Versus, a 30-second reel where I'm just like, damn, that's some shit my wife would do. Let me send it to her. You know what I mean?
And if you want to get 3 minutes up there, let me know. I'll put you up there.
3 minutes is a long time, right,
It
honey?
is a 3 minutes is a long time.
Nah, man, no.
Especially when they don't laugh. That shit feels like 3 hours.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm gonna have to make sure I wear like a black shirt, nothing white or nothing light colors, so people see the pit stains or some shit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I've never done it. I have pussied out of it twice. I've had friends come to the open mic, and I was just like, I can't fucking do it, dude. I was like, I can't do it. Like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. I call the Uber. You know what I mean? Like that type shit.
It happens to everybody, dude.
I know.
That's the beautiful. But Bill Burr, have you seen Bill Burr talk about his bombing on stage?
No.
Look it up. Look it up. Bill Burr bombing, and you'll see the stories where it's just like it's like everybody goes through it. Everybody, you'll never escape it. You'll never escape it. But it all comes down to like, what's your passion? Is this something you want to do? Is it something you don't want to do? Because if you don't really want to do it, then I understand where you're coming from. But if it's something that you feel you have some sort of a calling for, then try it out. And the worst that can happen is nobody laughs. Okay, you get off stage, 5 minutes, endure it. Get off stage, go have a drink. That's what life goes on at the end of the day, but you'll never know until you do it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right, man. Hey, you know what, man? I'll tell you what.
And I would be giving you an audience. You know how long it takes for a comic to get in front of an actual audience?
You would.
They do fucking open mics for like years before they get into an actual fucking healthy audience, and I would be giving you that. So think about it.
I would definitely. I'll definitely send you an email. I'll kind of give you my little 3 minutes, and be critical. But if this is an open invitation, then you know what? Fuck it, man. Drake said it best, YOLO. You know what I'm saying?
YOLO.
Oh, dude, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, now I'm even more fucking nervous.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do some research, write some shit down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put on my chill Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. Hey, Drew. Yo, it has been an honor, man. I didn't know I was gonna have you come on here, and I was gonna get offered a job. So this is pretty dope. Drew, do you have any questions for me or anything that you want to say to the audience that we didn't cover during today's episode?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
We straight?
I think I said what I needed to say.
I'm glad you did, man. Hey, and my door's always open if you want to come back on and correct yourself or say something else, man. I hope to do this again with you in a couple of years, and we can look back and just reflect. That'd be so dope, man.
Just keep pumping them out, man. Consistency is key.
I'm trying, man. When you get 2 views or 2 listens on a video, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. There's always next week.
Consistency. It's like, look at Matt Rife. He was getting ready to quit before that one clip went viral for him. Now he's like the Justin Bieber of comedy.
That's what I'm saying. I wish I looked like someone from the fucking Rugrats. That's crazy.
All
right. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming out here. Freedom Empire. We'll catch you next time on the pod.
All right.